The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Good morning, traders. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the hump. Welcome to the middle of the week. Welcome to the live trading room, Stocks and Options, brought to you by Tradespoon. My name is Scott, filling in for Vlad this week in the mornings. So I will be here today, tomorrow, Friday, and I'll still meet with you this afternoon. So looking forward to that. Good to see everybody. Let's get into it. Okay. Sorry, my mouse is not responding. Give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. My name is Scott. I am the head trading coach here at Tradespoon. I've been trading for over 20 years. I have been teaching, mentoring, coaching for going on 20 years. That's me. Here are the disclosures. Keep in mind, trading is risky. We're not advisors. Have a plan. Manage a risk. Yada, yada, yada. Good morning, Charles. Good to see you. Good morning, Phil. Thank you as always. Good morning, John. For those of you who don't know me but have been attending, maybe thinking about asking a question or thinking about contributing, please do so. Reach out. We want this to feel collaborative. I don't want to feel like I'm just talking at you. Good morning. I think it's Mark. Is that Mark or Tom? I've got a couple that come in without names. Coffee is, of course, excellent. Good morning, Fred. Good to see you. All right, let's get into it. What do we know? Good day yesterday. Did not continue overnight. Futures are down this morning. Not huge, but marginally down. S&P down almost 0.5%. The Dow 0.34, the NASDAQ 0.46, the Russell 0.75. We got a bit of a rally yesterday. Today, we're wondering, is there going to be some follow through? Okay, good, Mark. Glad I know at least it's you. Um, stock futures fall after post Powell rally. So the clearly the market is still just trying to decide, is it ready to commit? That's the question. Are we ready to commit a little bit more? And we don't know yet. We don't know the answer yet. We know that there's a number of things that have lined up in our favor for sure. We're waiting to see if we get that follow through, though. Uber reports key revenue and bookings beat, stock jumps. Okay, so there you go. That's a consumer discretionary / travel stock. Taco Bell powers Yum Brands earnings beat. Okay. Let's see what else we have by way of news. We know there's not a lot. That's really about it. Okay, no, that's all we have. Okay, let's take a look at the economic news. Today we have more Fed speak, a lot of Fed speak by regional chairman or president. New York Fed president speaks, Fed Governor Lisa Cook speaks, Vice Chair Michael Barr and Atlanta President Raphael Bostic speak, Neil Kashkari speaks, Christopher Wallace speaks, a lot of Fed speak. But we just had Jerome. I mean, we don't really care or really need anybody or anything else at this point. So I'm not expecting to get much from the Fed information today. Tomorrow, jobless claims expected to be in the high 100,000s. Friday, a little bit of inflationary expectations, which are continuing to come down. So we're seeing the Fed having the impact that they wanted, not necessarily at the rate. I don't know that they've come out and said what rate they want to see things come down, as long as they're seeing things come down. All right, let's keep going. The toolbox says SPY still bullish. We looked at this yesterday, said there may be some hint of consolidation. But overall, the momentum, the trend, and the momentum are both still showing upwards. Here's QQQ. Whoops. Still showing upwards. IWM. And the IWM is still showing upwards, all giving us that same basic consolidation followed by bullish kick. So we're wondering if that's what we're going to see. Here's the DIA. DIA has gone a little more neutral on us, a little bit more sideways. So, yeah, okay. And we already talked about the fact that we're not quite sure that we're concerned about the Dow showing a little bit more neutral. Right? A little bit more neutral basically means less money flowing into blue chips and large caps, which means there's more money to flow into technology and small caps, which definitely has more of a bullish implication overall. All right. Cyclical chart we know is still, there's the opening bell. Cyclical chart is here inside of this upward trajectory. As we look at, if I can zoom in and dial in on that. It's been a strong start of the year, stronger even than typically gets forecasted. Okay. Let's jump into it. We had identified a few things. Let me get the start of the watch list here, and let's just kind of go through. What are the sectors? Let's start with that. Well, we've been seeing increased momentum in technology, in financials, in consumer discretionary, in communication services. We've seen resilience in the materials, and we've seen a bit of a ease in the momentum in regard to industrials, right? The industrials have been a little bit more a little less exuberant, I would say. Okay. Alcoa was one that we had a trade on. Some people closed earlier. I said the longer it sits here on this underside, even yesterday, that's the kind of thing that can trick you, right? Where you're like, oh, well, maybe I should give it another chance. It's failed. Best bets are to shut it down. Now, if you didn't have enough value left in your calls and you said, hey, I positioned this thing for all or nothing, and I'd rather put that last little bit at risk for a possible comeback. Okay, great, right? Great. As long as it's calculated, that's the most important thing, right? You've got to be calculating exactly, what it is. Okay. Apple, we said, needs a little bit of a consolidation. It's overextended, right? It puts you in a bad spot. I would definitely be waiting to see if that comes back down. ADI, same thing. We've said with these tech stocks, they were overextended. We're waiting for our next opportunity. You've got earnings here, so you want to be careful about that. Archer Daniels is bearish at this point. We're really not interested in that. Question. I don't want to hold an equity for 3 months or longer. What or how can your program help me? Well, it's really, the program will help you in orienting it for swing trades, right? Remember that the main model is a 10-day prediction. So when you see that you've lined it up around an entry point, typically for a swing trade, we're thinking 5 to 9 days. Oh, you want to hold. Sorry. Okay. No, that's my fault. You wrote that the first time. You want to hold an equity for 3 months or longer. Then switch the perspective. And I mean, if it's 3 months or longer, then you're thinking more in terms not of daily charts, although the daily charts can have an impact in your entry. I would say your setups and your holds will be evaluated using a weekly chart by way of the standard charts, and then when you come in here, you're going to switch this to a longer term prediction, right? And you're looking at this here, which is showing a different perspective. So it's more of a position trade, a trend trade, if you will, well, where you're not as subject to the day to day, right? You want to remove the noise as far as that goes. Absolutely. So okay, let's keep going. AMD, well, AMD looks close, right? AMD looks close. Amazon. Okay, so Amazon was one we talked about yesterday. It's setting up. It's still setting up. It's pinching on the stochastics. It's made a higher high. It looks to be establishing a higher low. This is the kind of thing that we're looking for, right? Okay. AXP a little overextended, but I like it. I like financials. Boeing is just a little bit too sideways. Baba, I'm a little iffy on the Chinese stocks. Now it looks like they've maybe fallen. So let's make sure we're making note. Amazon is definitely one that we're considering on the short list and is close to a potential entry. Caterpillar gave a signal. I believe that gave a trade there. This was a trade that I ended up taking. I'm in this and waiting to see. It's stalled a little. You can see the stochastic shows that the momentum should be going up. We're not seeing it yet. It hasn't gone wrong, but certainly I'd like to see this thing start moving sooner than later, without a doubt. ConocoPhillips, oil is down a bit overall. Costco is definitely on the radar. You can see the buyers firmly took control. Stella seems to like QQQ best for the next 2 days. Why not sell a weekly put spread? It's just a matter of if the timing is the way that you like it. If you think there may still be a consolidation, you'll wait for the consolidation. But if you look at it and you think I have what I need, then yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Okay. DBC commodities are a bit down. John Deere, you can see it doesn't. This is where I talk about the strength of the industrial sector has waned. It's not there like it was. I still like Caterpillar, but I've definitely seen a shift of institutional money into a different set of sectors, and we want to make sure that we're taking that into consideration. Okay. DIA, kind of sideways. We talked about that. Disney looks bullish, but hasn't given signals. We've got earnings coming out today after the market. FCX looks like it could be a setup if you didn't have that, right? If you're thinking about something from the materials sector, there's potential there. Okay. I like FDX. FDX is looking increasingly strong. Buyers took control. They took a break. Now the sellers have pushed it down a little bit, but not much. That's definitely one that we have a potential for a trade setting up. Now look at the sectors that we've looked at. Amazon, more retail. Caterpillar, industrial, but manufacturing. FDX, industrial, but transportation. Okay. FXI, a little too far for me. GLD, you can see GLD is lost some luster. Goldman Sachs. I think Goldman Sachs is very strong, like some of the other financial stocks, but it's overextended, right? We're waiting for a consolidation to show entry. IWM has consolidated to some extent. So IWM could certainly be something to consider as a representative of small caps. Small caps are hard to trade with options. There's not a lot of small cap options that offer, or small cap stocks that offer the type of options that we would be interested in. So, right, there's just not much there. Jets. I'd say even Jets is potentially looking like it wants to be a setup. MasterCard. So MasterCard was another one that we put on. It started to move. It kind of stalled. Here it is now. The MasterCard trade, I did stay in. If anyone else is still in, I'm thinking to myself, this is it. It's got to go. It's got to be moving by the end of the week, or I'm not going to be staying with it at that point. Meta, big bust out from earnings, not much afterwards. Marvell, I would say chip stocks look like they're setting up a little bit. And that's certainly something that we should be paying attention to, right? Microsoft. Man, Microsoft is flying all of a sudden. Didn't get a lot of potential for jumping in, but it was there. You could see we had little hints of pullback turn. We've got to sometimes just be ready to jump if possible. Okay. Credit spreads on Marvell. Yes. The volatility is inflated, Fred, right? That definitely supports it. It's definitely seems to be holding above this old level. Netflix is kind of stalled out. Maybe still waiting for a little bit more confirmation there. Nvidia is another one that's just been straight up flying, right? Just straight flying. Oracle, very close. I would say that's still setting up. It's stalled out a little bit, but I would still be willing to give it a go as a representation of technology, communication services. QQQ turned yesterday. Not much follow through yet, but certainly the momentum is there. Look how strong it is right now, this price action. Starbucks, I'm not convinced yet about Starbucks. Silver, silver is down. Precious metals are struggling. I would definitely be reluctant here. SMH, you can see the same thing. Semiconductors, I mean, right now, if you look at where the strength is, it's in technology, it's in semiconductors. Other things are stalling out a little bit more. There's been some money flowing in, but that's where we see the most amount of strength right now. SPY, so we're down today, but not much. It's really just kind of flat, quite honestly. Toll Brothers, definitely a nice looking setup here. This one's getting close. So we have a few things that are in position to set up for trades this week. And that's what we're going to be looking for is there a good opportunity to put those trades on? Tesla still moving higher. UNG still moving lower. Visa somewhere in the middle. Here's the VIX today. You can see the VIX is this is a place where we have to be careful because you can see that we have come down from a lower high. Right? Let me draw this up. This is important. We had, here's our recent highs. And you can see they're coming down still, right? We haven't broke the consolidation. At this point, we won't break the consolidation without confirming a higher low. So if all of a sudden tomorrow we get a negative day and it looks like this, that's a double whammy. That's both a higher low and it is a break of this current consolidation line. For me, that's very dangerous. I don't have a lot of bullish trades on, but anything bullish I had, I would immediately either take the loss, tighten the stop, something along those lines. I would buy some puts. Absolutely, right? Absolutely buying puts. That's going to kick, whether you call it hedging, whether you call it bearish speculation, that's going to accelerate that thought process. And so we definitely want to make sure we're aware of that. But as of now, what we're keeping an eye on is this level here. And if we get down 2 extra days, that puts us past it. So you kind of have to be ready to make a decision one way or the other. If you get a couple of bullish signals, you trade them. If it turns around, you tighten stops, you add a hedge, and you're ready to go. Okay. Let's take a look. It's quiet out there today. How's everyone feeling? Trades okay? Are you trading much? Are you feeling confident about what we're seeing? Let's take a quick break. Look at the opening range. So you can see this is the momentum that we've been seeing here, right? We've had this momentum. The question is, are we convinced it's going to accelerate out of this? I wouldn't say I'm convinced, but I definitely think it has a good chance of doing so. Financials still look okay. Industrials I would say they look okay still. For me, this still helps set up that Caterpillar trade. A sector that doesn't look okay is something like this, which is staples. You can see staples have been coming down. If we look at XLU, utilities been coming down. If we look at XLV, healthcare been coming down. Right? We look at technology, XLK, what's it been doing? Going up. Financials going up. XLY, consumer discretionary going up. Actually, I would say consumer, I'm going to put that on consumer discretionary as an ETF. That has a fantastic look about it, right? If you want to trade consumer discretionary instead of picking an airline or a retail Amazon looks good as a representation, but XLY looks fantastic. Momentum is positive. Let's see how this likes it. We've talked about XLY, and the model says it agrees. It's not looking for a huge amount of momentum. If we look at Amazon as an alternative, the model does not like Amazon. So maybe there you go. Maybe we go with XLY this week as a play as far as that goes. Here is CAT. Caterpillar, the model is a bit iffy on that one as well. What else have we had? FDX. We liked FDX trying to set up. FDX. Oh, the model loves FDX. Loves FDX. Put it a little higher on the list. Let's take a look at. We said we like Oracle for a setup. Can you take some time and elaborate on the model? Look, here's the thing about the model. It's giving you predictions, 10 days in the form of candles. So you're basically saying, if you say, do I like this stock? Well, you ask the model, does it agree? I mean, that's there's a lot of different ways because you can use it for day trading by going to the intraday. Earlier today, if you were here, we talked about more of a position trading using the long term. So how you use the model is going to be determined by your objective. It's going to be determined by your time frame. I'm a swing trader looking for 5 to 9 days. So this default chart works perfectly for me. Chip stocks. So if we say, hey, Marvell looks pretty good for a positive momentum, the question is, does the model agree? It's iffy on that one. A little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down. So you might say, you know what, that's good enough. I'd prefer to see things like FedEx, right? FedEx, it's picked up on some heavy momentum where it just looks like it's going to go take off to outer space. So nothing is perfect. How accurate is it? Yeah, well, the model adjusts. It's every day it gets new data and then it adjusts. So it's as good as the data it gets, and each day it gets new data. So it's a tool. It's not it's certainly, we're not positioning this as a crystal ball because there's no such thing as a crystal ball. This is a tool in your toolbox. The analogy I use is we're building a house, right? Your house is different than my house. Size, shape, style, color, decoration, materials. We all want a house, but we go about different ways of what that house is supposed to look like when it's done. However, when it comes to building the house, when it comes to building the house, do you just want a saw? Could I hammer nails with a saw? Maybe. It'd be a pretty crappy way to go about hammering in some nails. Could I screw in some screws with that saw? Maybe. Be right. I want the right tools for the right job. So you can see I use things like the VIX. I use standard charts. I use Heikin-Ashby charts. I use the Tradespoon model. I use a stochastics. So what you want to be thinking about is, how can I combine this information? And I'm not looking to, find myself facing analysis paralysis. I'm saying, where's my setup come from? What role? Here's something you want to ask yourself with any tool that you're using. What exact and specific role does any indicator play in your system? Some of them might just be like, oh yeah, it gives me some perspective. It helps me just to, decide, do I like it or not? Some of them are very specific. This is my trigger. This is my setup. When this turns, that's my green light. That's what I'm looking for. Great. I mean, candlestick analysis in and of itself is its own set of rules, potentially. So what I would say is build a trading plan. Now, you may not know this. I actually got through my watch list, so I have a few minutes here. But if you come in to event recordings, and we haven't done these for a while, but these active investor workshops, if you come in here, there are some old workshops. And you can just kind of scan through and look at these things. But if you scan through here, we've got spreads, we've got optimal entries and exits. What indicators can we use? We've got, what else do we have? I know we have a trading plan outlined somewhere in here. But you'll notice you've got options strategies, you've got entry and exit strategies. Here's a Tradespoon site tour. Yeah, I want you to get the most amount of use out of the site as you can. And there's a lot of good, just old presentations in here. I can't seem to find one. I thought I had done one on trading plan development. Oh, it's in there somewhere. You know what? I'm going to have to look it up and give it to you tomorrow. Now you have to come back tomorrow because I'm going to find the date for your trading plan. Creating the perfect long-term trading plan for any market. Anyways. Oh, the option Greeks. That's a great one. That is a fantastic one. So, yes, what I would say is this. Just know the role each indicator, each thing plays in your system, and we'll go from there. We've got some setups, but they're not there yet. They could possibly trigger today, but most likely we'll see. I mean, we've got a list. So those of you who can join me this afternoon, we're going to see if any of those start to turn. Depends on how the day progresses. It's a long day. So Ed says he's not sure about option Greeks, but some of his friends are option geeks. There you go. It's kind of one and the same. If you know the Greeks, you're an option geek. That's for sure. I'm an option geek, so I wear that badge with pride. Excellent. All right. Well, listen, I'll be back the last hour of the market. Join me. If not, join me tomorrow. We're in kind of a funky spot still with this market. So we're not looking to rush into high levels of risk. Let's just be ready to go. Have at least a handful of stocks at any given time that you think are the best ones from the best groups that show the momentum, that have the setups. Know your tools and how you're going to use them. Yeah, great questions. Keep asking them. Let's talk about it. So, Like I said, I'll be back later this afternoon in about what time is it? 5 hours. So enjoy your 5 hours. I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you tomorrow morning. And as always, happy trading.